and welcome to the daily newscast within the United Countries special by First Ukraine. You can find us on the frequencies available on our website firsta.com. I'm Olga Tkachenko and thank you for joining us. The situation in the ATO zone continues to be quite calm. According to Presidential Administration spokesperson Andriy Lysenko, during last day across the contact line, heavy weaponry deployment by illegal armed groups wasn't observed, and there are no casualties among Ukrainian military. More details right from the front line from ATO spokesman Anatoly Stelmach.
At the end of the previous day, the situation in Anto was relatively calm. From 6 p.m. till midnight, illegal armed forces several times opened up edgy fire to the side of our positions. Approximately at 9 p.m., the supportive points of Ukrainian forces were held by the infantry combat vehicle arms and small arms near Donetsk. Apart from this, almost at 11 p.m., militants shot our positions in the south from Avdiivka from launchers and small weapons. At 9:50 p.m., the rival applied small arms at the Ukrainian subdivisions on the Artemivsk route near Kirova, and the rival shot our positions near the village of Zaitsevo. In general, during the last day, pro-Russian rebel groups violated the truce for 12 times. Today, on the 7th of September, no shellings haven't been noticed.
On the border with Crimea, 3 Ukrainian military servicemen disappeared. At General Headquarters, presupposed that it could be a kidnapping. Lost men are soldiers from 79th Air Mobile Brigade. According to the headquarters information, yesterday at night they relieved watch. They came back to the disposition point, changed their clothes and went swimming to the nearest pond close to the border with occupied Crimea.
As it was informed, 2 cars came to the territory for the site of illegal occupied Crimea, and maybe they arrest illegally our servicemen. Their guns and documents were left on the place of their location. Now it is led an internal investigation and search.
Meanwhile, there are more than 1 million of those Ukrainians who had involuntarily to leave their houses at Donbass and Crimea, the State Emergency Service counted. The number grows every day. Almost all these people are looking for apartment and jobs. Almost all do not have the most necessary things. Both foreigners and countrymen help them. However, according to voluntary organizations, the amount of assistance is diminishing now. Psychologists tell people are tired of war. How the volunteers work and what emigrants need, our journalists found out.
There is baby food. Is it okay for you, by the way? Will baby eat it? Diapers? And we'll simply have something for baby bathing. Thank you a lot. Vitalina Tsarekovich is an immigrant from Avdiivka. She is a constant attender of the center on Frolovska Street in the downtown. Her husband, an 8-month son, and she moved to the capital several months ago. They were escaping from the war at night, that's why they couldn't take anything with them. On Frolovska, they got what they needed for most. We received mixes for a kid, clothes for a kid and us, and coats. This assistance center for the people who had to leave their homes because of the war in the East has been working for more than a year. The volunteers say more than 200 people ask for help each day. The first thing immigrants received is the sad food and the pack of household chemicals. Tea, oil, macaroni, there's buckwheat, rice, and canned food. Here we have washing powder, toilet paper, shampoos, shower gel. Besides, there are body milk, skin milk. In the center, there are Owen's strict rules, Olena Libet says. Not only clothes and food are given there, but also we help to find job. Very often, people are offended if we do not give any food product to them in 45 days after they came the first time. But it's our strict rule, because we think a person should find a job, has to search for it. We'll help with clothes, linen, pillows, etc., but a person has to earn money for food. The center gets financial support and humanitarian parcels from abroad. The most, of course, help Ukrainians. For instance, the permanent helper of the center is a pensioner from Kyiv. He every day forms packages for immigrants. Not simply things, they are folded, very well packed. It is also about accompaniment. He always does it, either writes verses or notes. During the last month, the volunteers felt that the people are tired, there is less help. The psychologists call such fall is natural. Any critical event in life of society has its specific phases. There is a phase which is called the love phase, when all people rush to help. In the long term, this phase ends. Actually, people stop attracting attention, get used, become tired, and pretend that nothing happens. The volunteers from Assistance Center on Frolovska say they are provided with everything. But there are things which finish in the stocks very quickly because immigrants are them most of all. Furniture, lining, blankets, pillows, and there is a huge problem with men's clothing, especially it concerns shoes. As it's getting colder, the immigrants must often ask warm clothes and shoes. There is a lack of them, volunteers say. Наталя Балюк, Ярослав Тихомир, Мирослава Савісько, News on First.
Ukraine surprised the world by the speed of reforms. Managing director of the International Monetary Fund said about that. It is her first official visit to Ukraine. Christine Lagarde said that the Ukrainian economy is getting stronger and more stable, and if the fight with corruption is to be quicker, it will help to renew the country quicker. The mission of IMF will came to Ukraine with working visit on the 22nd of September. According to President Petro Poroshenko, Kyiv got 38% from the foreseen sum of credit. The program of cooperation with the IMF is calculated for the next 4 years. Ukraine plans to get $17.5 billion. The first tranche in $5 billion was sent on the 13th of March. It made possible to enlarge monetary funds of the country to $12.7 billion. It was agreed about a new tranche, $1.7 billion.
It was very hard to achieve such macroeconomic stabilization, which confirms today in Ukraine. To achieve that, economy demonstrates features of renewal. It is really unique. It is a signal for investors. Be sure that the team which works and develops reforms keeps a word and will provide better life for people. This agreement will lead to increased paying ability of our country, make better paying balance, and helps to respond to such criteria which were defined during the negotiations. I think it will help to get agreements with other creditors if we get such results now.
The parliament blocks the process of privatization in Ukraine. The prime minister said that during the meeting of the financial board of Financial Stability. According to Arseniy Yatsenyuk, politicians don't vote for the amendments to privatization laws which were offered by the government in the Verkhovna Rada a year ago. It is to be given for privatization 13 marine trade ports, state enterprise, Ukrspirt, Artemsil in Solidar, and 372 agricultural enterprises. State Property Fund of Ukraine will offer to privatize Centroenergo, 6 local energy stations, and Obolenergo. It is also planned to sell Odessa port factory. The prime minister said that it was evaluated in $1 billion. The final price would be defined during the tender.
We have decided to leave strategy important enterprises in state property. Everything else must be sold on transparent and public auctions with providing of social package for workers and involvement of investments into Ukrainian economy.
In Vinnytsia, the admission to new patrol police have started. The process will last for 3 weeks. After that, the training will begin, and in December, new policemen will go on the streets of Vinnytsia. How the selection process has started, see in our following story.
Excitement around the people's enrollment to the new patrol police doesn't pass over Vinnytsia. The application forms were sent by more than 1,500 people, and this is only during the first day. The government's Vinnytsia police promised they will intercede for the staff enlargement of police officers up to 400. The amount of patrol police only in the city is 260 people. Will intercede the ministry to enlarge the quantity. The majority of applications are sent on the internet. Only several hundred applicants brought them individually. Irina Stranzhetska is among them. She says her husband works in police. She hopes she will join police officers soon. I think both men and women have the right to change the system, and it depends on everyone. Everyone can make a contribution. 1/3 of the applicants is girls. Among the volunteers to become a police officer, there are militia officers, students, marketing experts, shop assistants. However, all of them have similar motives to wear a black uniform, to change something not only in my life, but also in the country and the city, to change the people, first of all, to achieve something so we finally overcome corruption and it will be easier to live for us. I want to alter the country for the better and to become a part of that will introduce something new and better to this country. There are 2 people from Vinnytsia among 4 capital police officers who presented the uniform and office automobiles. Valentina Harchevska, inspector of patrol service in Kiev, she says she came to inspire her countrymen by her own example. I know the people in Vinnytsia, so I am sure everything is going to be fine. So Vinnytsia region, go forward, we'll support you. Slava Ukraini. The application forms will have been accepted by the 28th of September. After this, there will be testing and the courses for the candidates. The new police officers are expected to take the oath and appear on the streets of the city at the end of December. Yulia Shupanova, Alexander Mironov, Miroslava Savitsko, News and First.
Antonov plant, the biggest provider of planes in Ukraine, refuses from Russian spies. Now, near half of all details for Ukrainian planes is delivered by Russia, but constructors created and began to build the first plane without them.
The first national plane without Russian details. Antonov plant is beginning to provide planes for European market and wants to refuse from details made by the country aggressor. That must be a credit card of the Antonov plant. Loading plane An-132. Now constructors work under its front part. The plane will be ready to the end of 2016. The production of An-132 is common. Saudi Arabia provides near 60% of spares, 40 others are native. Other enterprises of Ukroboronprom, to which Antonov plant was united, will help in these activities. These enterprises already provide spares, details and tools for aviation branch, and we, Ukroboronprom, have to make the industry which is connected with aviation to cooperate. Such unification with defense concern will help to refuse from Russian spares in Ukrainian planes. The head of the plant, Mikhailo Vozdov, says, today Russia provides half of spares for An planes, but this percent was decreased to 40. Actually, we have not a contract but agreement about renovation of equipment. 23 million euros is a minimal sum which we need to produce high-quality planes. Those details which couldn't be produced in Ukraine will be delivered from the West instead of Russia. For example, there are details not only from Ukraine, but also America, Germany and Arabia. The head of the program, Alexander Khokhlov, says that it won't be more expensive than its competitor, but it can compete in reliability. It can be used on the mountain airfields. It is equipped with loading access door with special frame, which led to do special activities in transportation, delivering of cargo, which are not fulfilled by competitors. When the first An-132 will be produced, it will be transported to the potential customer, Saudi Arabia. If they will be pleased, then they will order 80 planes more, says the head of the Antonov plant. There is no information about the customer from other countries. Volodymyr Karaban, Yaroslav Tikhomir, Oksana Parkhomenko, First Ukraine.
It was the United Country Newscast by First Ukraine. You can find more details at our website, firsta.com. Olga Tkachenko was working for you in the studio. We wish you only good news. Take care and goodbye.